You have a precious little boy who
I do.
Have I met him? No.
I don't think you have.
Why not?
I feel like you have, but you haven't. But maybe it's because he's from New Orleans and you're from New Orleans.
15 years ago, a baby boy entered the world without knowing what his future would hold. He was not wanted by his biological parents and was placed in an orphanage just months after his birth. His life began with uncertainty, silence, and waiting. But sometimes, life takes unexpected turns. Fate had something very different planned for this child. That boy would soon be adopted by one of Hollywood's most famous and beloved actresses, Sandra Bullock, along with her then-husband, Jesse James. From that moment, his entire life changed. This is the story of Louis, a boy who went from being unwanted to becoming deeply loved, and how his life looks today. Sandra Bullock, often called America's sweetheart, built a remarkable career in Hollywood through her charm, talent, and authenticity. She rose to fame with the blockbuster film Speed, starring alongside Keanu Reeves, which established her as a strong and charismatic actress. Over the years, she proved her versatility with films like Miss Congeniality and her award-winning role in The Blind Side, which earned her an Academy Award for Best Actress. Her success continued with hits like Gravity, The Proposal, and The Heat. Beyond acting, she became known as a smart businesswoman and a generous philanthropist. By all measures, she had achieved incredible success, fame, wealth, and recognition, yet something important was still missing from her life. Despite her accomplishments, Sandra always dreamed of becoming a mother. As time passed, she realized that having a biological child might not happen, but that didn't stop her desire to build a family. In 2006, she and Jesse James made a life-changing decision. They would adopt a child. The process was long and emotionally demanding, stretching over several years. Then, in January 2010, Sandra's dream finally came true. At the age of 45, she welcomed a 3.5-month-old baby boy named Louis into her life. Louis had spent his earliest months in an orphanage, waiting for someone to choose him, to love him, to give him a home. When Sandra met him for the first time, she felt an instant connection. She later described the moment as something almost magical, as if he had always been part of her life. In that instant, her world felt complete. The child who once had no one now had a mother who loved him deeply. However, just as Sandra stepped into motherhood, her personal life took a painful and unexpected turn. Serious allegations surfaced about Jesse James, revealing multiple affairs during their marriage. The situation quickly became a public scandal, drawing intense media attention. In the middle of all this chaos, Sandra had only one priority: protecting her son. She understood that a newborn could feel emotional energy, and she made a conscious decision to shield Louis from her pain. She focused entirely on giving him a calm, loving environment. By March 2010, Sandra and Jesse separated, and their divorce was finalized a few months later. Suddenly, Sandra found herself as a single mother. But instead of breaking her, this moment strengthened her. She poured all her energy into raising Louis with love, care, and stability. As he grew, he became a joyful, curious, and kind child. Sandra often spoke about how much happiness he brought into her life, from simple hugs to the words, "I love you, Mama," which meant everything to her. Louis was not just a loving child. He also showed a surprising level of emotional depth and wisdom for his age. Sandra once described him as incredibly sensitive and insightful, someone who could understand situations in a way that many adults struggle to. In fact, she even trusted his opinions. She once shared a story where Louis advised her not to take a certain film role. She listened to him, and later realized he was right when the project did not succeed. Moments like these showed just how special he was. In 2015, Sandra's life took another beautiful turn. She found love again with photographer Brian Randall. He became an important part of her life and a caring father figure for Louis. That same year, Sandra expanded her family by adopting a young girl named Layla. Before bringing Layla home, Sandra took time to educate herself about childhood trauma and emotional care, ensuring she could provide the best environment for her children. When Louis met his new sister, he immediately stepped into the role of a protective and loving older brother. Having once experienced loneliness himself, he understood the importance of family and connection. Sandra recalled moments where Louis would comfort Layla, especially when she felt overwhelmed. His quiet support and kindness showed a maturity far beyond his years. Today, Louis is a teenager, around 15 years old, growing up away from the spotlight. Sandra has made a clear decision to keep her children's lives private, allowing them to enjoy a normal upbringing. Louis has developed interests in sports and technology, while Layla continues to excel in her studies and loves spending time with animals. Together, they are growing into strong, kind individuals under their mother's guidance. Sandra Bullock has also stepped back from her busy Hollywood career to focus on her family. For her, nothing is more important than raising her children in a safe, loving, and stable environment. Her journey shows that true parenthood is not defined by biology, but by love, care, and commitment. This story leaves us with a powerful question. Is a real parent the one who gives birth, or the one who gives love, time, and care? Louis's life is a living answer to that question, a reminder that sometimes the family we choose becomes the family that truly matters. As Louis entered his teenage years, the quiet strength that once defined him as a child began to take on a more confident shape. Growing up under the care of Sandra Bullock, he was raised far from the noise and pressure of Hollywood fame. Unlike many celebrity children, Louis's life was intentionally kept private. There were no constant paparazzi appearances, no overexposed social media moments, and no rush into the entertainment industry. Sandra made a clear and firm decision early on. Her children would grow up as normally as possible. This meant school routines, friendships, hobbies, and learning life lessons without the world constantly watching. And that decision has played a huge role in shaping the young man Louis is becoming today. Now, at around 15 years old, Louis is described as thoughtful, intelligent, and quietly confident. Those close to the family say he has developed a strong sense of independence while still maintaining the kindness and emotional awareness he showed as a child. His interests have also grown with him. He has developed a love for sports, often spending time outdoors staying active, while also showing a deep curiosity for technology. Whether it's understanding how things work, exploring gadgets, or learning new digital skills, Louis seems drawn to the modern world in a way that reflects his generation. Yet, despite these interests, he remains grounded, a quality that clearly comes from the way he was raised. Sandra has always believed that parenting is about listening as much as it is about guiding. As Louis grew older, their relationship evolved from that of a mother and young child into something deeper, a partnership built on trust and understanding. She has openly shared that she values his opinions and respects his perspective, even when it comes to important decisions in her own life. This level of mutual respect is rare, especially in parent-child relationships, but it highlights the unique bond they share. Louis isn't just her son. In many ways, he is also her source of clarity, someone who sees the world with honesty and simplicity. Meanwhile, his role as a big brother to Layla has only become stronger over time. When Brian Randall entered their lives, he also helped create a stable and supportive family environment, reinforcing the sense of security both children needed. As Layla grew, Louis naturally took on a leadership role in her life. He became her protector, her supporter, and sometimes even her quiet guide. Their relationship is built on shared experiences, both having come from difficult beginnings and finding a home where they are truly loved. That shared history has created a deep connection between them, one that continues to grow stronger with each passing year. Sandra's parenting style has also played a crucial role in shaping her children's lives. She is known to be deeply involved, not just emotionally, but also practically. She attends to their needs, supports their interests, and ensures they understand the value of kindness, humility, and gratitude. She has often spoken about teaching her children the importance of being aware of the world around them, understanding that not everyone has the same opportunities, and that empathy is one of the most important qualities a person can have. This is especially meaningful considering Louis's own early life experience, which could have easily been forgotten but instead became a foundation for compassion. Another important aspect of Lewis's life is the absence of pressure to follow in his mother's footsteps. While many might assume that the child of a Hollywood star would naturally move toward acting or entertainment, there is no indication that Lewis is being pushed in that direction. Sandra has made it clear that her children are free to choose their own paths, whatever they may be. Whether Lewis decides to pursue technology, sports, academics, or something entirely different, the focus is on his happiness and personal growth rather than public expectations. Over the years, Sandra Bullock herself has gradually stepped away from the spotlight. After decades of success in films like Gravity and The Blind Side, she chose to slow down her career to spend more time with her family. This decision reflects her priorities clearly. While fame brought her success, it is motherhood that brought her true fulfillment. She once expressed that being present for her children during their most important years matters more than any role she could ever play on screen. And in many ways, this choice has allowed Lewis and Layla to grow up with a sense of stability that is rare in celebrity families. Today, Lewis represents something much bigger than just a personal success story. He is a reminder that a child's beginning does not define their future. Once left in an orphanage without certainty, he is now growing up in a home filled with love, support, and opportunity. His journey highlights the power of adoption and the impact it can have, not just on the child, but on the parent as well. Sandra often credits Lewis with changing her life just as much as she changed his. Their story is not one of rescue, but of connection. Two lives coming together at the exact moment they needed each other most. As the years continue to pass, one thing remains certain. Lewis's story is still being written. He is no longer the tiny baby waiting in an orphanage, nor just the young boy discovering the world. He is now stepping into his own identity, carrying with him the lessons, love, and strength that have defined his journey so far. And while the world may not see him often, the life he is living speaks volumes, a life built not on fame, but on family, resilience, and unconditional love. As Lewis continues to grow, one of the most powerful aspects of his journey is how naturally he has been shielded from the pressures that often come with fame. In a world where celebrity children are frequently pushed into the spotlight before they even understand it, his upbringing has been completely different. Thanks to Sandra Bullock, his childhood was protected with intention, care, and boundaries that prioritized emotional health over public attention. This quiet approach to parenting has allowed Lewis to develop at his own pace, without the weight of expectations that could have easily shaped his identity in the wrong way. Even though he is the son of one of Hollywood's most respected actresses, Lewis's life has been built around normal experiences. School, friendships, hobbies, and family moments form the foundation of his world. There are no scripted appearances or forced media moments, just a young boy growing into adulthood in a stable home. This is rare in the entertainment industry, and it reflects Sandra's deep understanding that childhood only happens once, and it should not be sacrificed for fame or recognition. At this stage in his life, Lewis is also beginning to explore who he wants to become. Like many teenagers, he is discovering his strengths, interests, and personality. His curiosity for technology suggests a mind that enjoys problem-solving and creativity, while his involvement in sports shows discipline and teamwork. These small but important details paint a picture of a balanced young individual who is learning how to navigate the world with confidence. He is not defined by his past, nor limited by his future. He is simply becoming himself. The presence of family remains the strongest influence in his life. His bond with his sister Layla continues to grow, built on shared experiences and emotional understanding. Having both come from difficult beginnings before being adopted, they share a unique connection that cannot be easily explained. It is not just sibling love, it is a deeper sense of recognition, as if both understand what it means to be given a second chance at life. That shared history has created a foundation of loyalty and protection between them that will likely last a lifetime. Meanwhile, the impact of Brian Randall in their family life also contributed to a sense of balance and emotional stability during important years of growth. His presence helped reinforce the idea of a complete, supportive home environment, where love was not limited to one relationship but expanded into a broader sense of family connection. These influences combined have shaped Lewis into a young person who understands love not as something fragile or temporary, but as something steady and grounding. As for Sandra, her journey as a mother has become one of the most meaningful chapters of her life. After years of success in films such as Miss Congeniality and The Blind Side, she eventually stepped back from the constant demands of Hollywood to focus on what mattered most to her, raising her children. This decision was not about leaving fame behind, but about choosing presence over pressure. It was about being there for the quiet, everyday moments that truly define childhood. And in those moments, Lewis's life has quietly transformed into something beautiful. From a baby once left in uncertainty to a teenager surrounded by love, his journey is a powerful reminder that beginnings do not decide destiny. What shapes a life is not where it starts, but who stands beside you along the way. In Lewis's case, that difference was made by a mother who chose love without hesitation. Today, his story stands as a living example of hope. It shows that family is not always defined by biology, but by choice, commitment, and care. It proves that even from the most uncertain beginnings, a life can grow into something strong, stable, and full of meaning when it is nurtured with love. And perhaps the most important lesson from this journey is simple. Sometimes, the greatest gift a child can receive is not wealth, fame, or status, but a home where they are truly wanted. When you look back at Lewis's journey, it almost feels like two completely different lives stitched together by fate. One begins in uncertainty, in a place where he was simply waiting to be chosen. The other begins the moment